Hey, what is happening, guys? Your faithful host here, Kent Clothier, coming to you from my office here in La Jolla, California. Again, today, happy to join you here at 11 a.m. Pacific. Hopefully, you're having a great day. Want to kind of jump right into what is going on in the market, what people need help with. So, as you're coming on, do me a favor and just go and one, say hello in the comments. Love to shout you out. Two, if you have very specific questions that I can answer for you today, whether they are deal related or whether they are, very specific. I just got off of a coaching call with one of my high-end CEO clients about what they're doing in the market right now, what's going on. If you have something along those lines you want to talk about, I'll absolutely help you with that. Tell you exactly what you need to be doing. Again, if you just want to talk on bigger topics, what is the industry doing at large? I'm happy to kind of do a little bit of deep dive. Or want to talk about the upcoming event, Scale and Escape, Boardroom, what the best and the brightest in the business are talking about. Happy to do that as well. So again, as you're coming on, do me a favor, especially if you're on Facebook, hit that like button, hit that love button. That lets everybody know that we are now live. It will let the algorithm know to alert everybody and get more people on here so that we can get these questions answered. So one of the things I want to talk about today, I got a comment yesterday and from a really good friend of mine, and he deals with a lot of the same kind of stuff that I deal with people coming in and asking him very specifically, hey, Kent, or he's asking me, would the market, there's so much negativity in the market right now. What do you actually think is going to go on? What do you believe is happening? What should you be listening to? What should I be listening to? And I think it's different with everybody. Here's what I can tell you that I know to be true, is that even in spite of interest rates being risen, right? And for sure, properties are now taking longer to sell. They're sitting on the MLS a little bit longer at the retail side of it. Some buyers have kind of pressed pause, backed away from the table, etc. With all of that happening, the reality of it is that demand is still historically low. And if you get yourself out of the headlines, as is pretty much the case with just about any topic, when you realize just how much we are being manipulated with all of the bullshit clickbait that is put out there for us to consume, when you realize that there's literally nothing in the headlines on either side of the topic that is designed to make you feel good. It is all designed to control your opinion one way or the other, including the real estate headlines. Then you'll soon figure out how to disconnect from it and what I call separating fact from fiction. The reality of it is that there is really good data out there that tells us not only historically what has happened in times like these, but where we are today inside of a cycle. And when you start to do that, it helps you to evaluate what you should be doing in this real estate market. Right now, we still have a historically low supply. We do not have enough properties. We do not have enough multifamily units. We do not have enough single family units. We have, again, you've heard me repeat this statistic over and over again, where we have, somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 million to 5 million, depending on who you listen to, 4 to 5 million units we are short in the United States today of where we should be based off of migration patterns, where what we believe turnover should be in real estate year over year, what it's done historically, what we believe, baby boomers that are moving out, moving down, all those types of things, new buyers coming into the market. We are 4 to 5 million units short. That shortage cannot be addressed in real time. It's not going anywhere. And because it cannot be addressed, it has a direct impact economically. Basic economics here. This is economics 101. This is high school economics. When supply is contracted and demand is what it is, stable, there is a healthy demand, then prices will increase. If I have 10 bananas and 100 people want them, then naturally I'm going to charge more for my freaking bananas, period. And that's what's going on in the real estate market. Right now, we do not have enough supply to even today to address the demand. Now, what has happened is that demand has been brought down because of interest rates. It has been tempered back into something that feels more normal, something that feels more healthy, something that feels, people want to call it a correction or a crash or whatever. The reality of it is, it's basically getting back to something that feels a little more normal. Is the economy at a high level? Are we going through a recession? Is inflation real? Absolutely. Are there companies that are going to lay off tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people over the course of the next year? Yes. And as that happens, will that create distress in the market where there's more inventory coming out to be sold? Absolutely. And that will help, again, create this more equilibrium, equality in the market. But any way you cut it, all those factors still in place. We're still not building enough houses. And as long as that's going on, although transaction volume may decline, prices will stay relatively steady at a holistic level or at a macro level. I believe that, yes, there are markets that will go down more dramatically, right? There are some markets that are kind of the tip of the spear. So they experience these massive swings. A market like Phoenix goes wildly up. It's the first to go up and it'll be the first to go down. Vegas is very similar, right? Those markets are going to seem a little erratic and it's going to be pretty painful. But the reality of it is the dust will settle and there will just be a new version of normal. It's not going away. There is not suddenly going to be nobody. There will suddenly be, we're not going to look up and there's no cash buyers in the market. That will not happen, right? In fact, just the opposite will happen. There will be more cash buyers that flood into the market and they will come in because they realize they will believe that there's kind of blood in the streets, that there's an opportunity for them to come in and buy deals that otherwise they couldn't buy before. That's going to happen. And so for me, what I believe you should be doing is get out of the headlines, get out of the hysteria, get the facts, get around people who actually know what the hell they're talking about, get around people that are experts, that are in the weeds, that are doing it every single day, that have a great deal of insight, get around people who are around 12, 14 years ago, or if not longer, been in this game for a long time. This is not their first shift where it shifts from a seller's market to a buyer's market. They've been through this before. They understand the changes that should be made. If you're serious about this business, then you need to get around those people. If you're not serious, then just get the hell out of the way, right? Because your ass is about to get run over. You're going to make some serious mistakes going on, and it's going to hurt you. And so I don't want anybody to get hurt. The reality of it is everybody out there, if you treat this like a business and you pivot when you're supposed to pivot and you take precautionary action, meaning cleaning up your balance sheet, get your business lean, create more liquidity, put yourself in a position to take advantage of opportunities. If you haven't been out there raising money or aligning yourself with capital partners, you should be doing that now. If you're not doing those things, you should be. Number one, equally, probably have no business out there going and, unless you're an expert, going out there and doing new construction, new development, anything along those lines in the residential area right now, only simply because let the dust settle. Market's not going anywhere, but let the dust settle. Figure out what the new norm is in your market. Our price is going to correct 5%, 10%, 15%. Let this dust settle a little bit if you're going to be doing rehabs, because then you'll understand what the new norm is. If you're a wholesaler, it's very simple. You should be marketing very vigorously with all of the cash buyers in your market, engaging them and finding out exactly what they are looking to buy right now. What is their timeline, the next 30, 60, 90 days? Where are they going to go? What are they going to, what neighborhoods are they going to be focused on? All of that, get all that information so that you can adjust your buy box immediately and then go and pivot and start marketing aggressively for sellers in those areas. Hold on, I'm just sending something. There. Okay. You should be, so that you can, again, start marketing for sellers in those distressed areas where buyers want to focus. Here's what I can tell you. Crisis real estate never takes a day off. Crisis real estate, distressed real estate does not care what market we're in at all. It does not care whether we're in a good market, bad market, buyer's market, seller's market, up market, down market. It doesn't care. Crisis always exists. And so if you are an investor specifically a wholesaler that is focused on acquiring distressed assets, then you need to continue to focus on those distressed lists. More distress will come into the market as layoffs happen, as again, people losing their job is going to be a big factor here. When that happens, you need to be top of mind. You need to be omnipresent. You need to be in a position to where you have the ability to get those calls quickly. While that's going on, back to my original comment, you should be aggressively marketing for cash buyers right now. I've done this a long time, and I can tell you for sure, this is an amazing opportunity to separate yourself from everybody. I was telling somebody this the other day, that if there would be no quote unquote Kent Clothier if the Great Recession had not happened. It was in times exactly like these where my reputation, for lack of a better way of saying it, was built, right? And created this persona, and then ultimately spun up into a data company and a software company and a trading company and a coaching company and a mastermind. All of that spawned out of this time, because it was in these times where I was extremely bold and took massive action when everybody else was acting like a pussy. And most of my competitors, if not all of them, turned down their marketing, turned off their marketing, stopped buying, and all I was doing was behind the scenes working tirelessly to go and create and nurture relationships with cash buyers. And then once I had those cash buyers, and keep in mind, 2008, what was interesting about that time, I looked like a hero. Reality was I was just kind of lucky, because I had perfected a system where I was out there only dealing with cash buyers. So exactly what I've taught you guys to do. I basically go out and I nurture relationships with cash buyers, find out exactly what they want to buy, and then I turn around and direct all of my seller marketing to create those exact opportunities where at the price I need to get them, where I know I can just sell them to cash buyers all day long. That's the business model. It's called reverse wholesaling. If you haven't got my book, go get it. Either one of them. It covers it in detail. But I was doing that long before the recession happened. It just so happened that the recession, when it hit, was a credit-driven recession. And so what happened, and it was a real estate-driven recession. And so what happened is that entire collapse took all of the credit, all the money out of the market. And when it took it out of the market, it took all my competitors out of the market, because they were busy selling to people who needed the banks. And if anybody remembers back then, the banks were just trying to stay alive, right? They were on life support, trying to survive another day. Banks were not lending. If anything, they were trying to figure out how to sell and foreclose on everything they had. And so for a guy like me who didn't need banks, who was just busy selling deals to cash buyers, I look like a hero. I went from flipping 100 deals a year to 300 deals a year. The business exploded. And all of a sudden it turned into, like I said, we were the first people that kind of brought out the whole data product. I started showing people what I was doing by finding cash buyers. And then it was private lenders. And then it was vacant properties with Chris Richter. And all of a sudden this whole thing started snowballing. And all of a sudden we had the software that everybody wanted, the data product that everybody wanted. And then it turned into trainings and coachings and masterminds. And so my point in sharing all that with you is you have no idea how great this time really could be for you. The only way it will be great, though, is if you do two things. Number one, you live to fight another day. You are smart enough and calculated enough to clean up your balance sheet, clean up your books, clean up your business to where you have liquidity and you get to fight. And number two, where you equally realize that there is going to be a natural vacuum that will be created, an echo chamber where your competitors are pulling back, and there's an opportunity there for you to fill that void, to double down on your marketing, to go more aggressively after cash buyers, to go more aggressively after motivated sellers, right? To go directly align yourself with capital partners. This is when you go harder, not easier, harder than you've ever gone is right now. Because if you do that with all of your competitors asleep at the wheel, you're creating so much distance between you and them that it's really, really, really challenging for them to catch up. And so I would highly, highly encourage you to find the courage to get around the people who inspire you and motivate you and will hold you accountable, so that you will take massive action, because this is an opportunity, guys. And, the question was what I think of all the naysayers and all the bullshit that's online. I don't really give a shit. I mean, the reality of it is there's a certain element in this market that will listen to that, and they will get terrified and they will run away. And when they do, good riddance, because I'm going to whip their ass. And if they don't, I'm still going to whip their ass, because they won't play as hard as I play. They won't go as I mean, this is a time to be acquiring cash flow assets like a beast, right? Multifamily, single family. If it cash flows, go acquire. And it's only getting better. And if you're not doing that, then you are wholesaling like an absolute savage right now. And if you don't do that, then get the fuck out of the way, because you're playing small and you are going to be part of that mediocrity that gets sucked down. And it's just that simple, right? You're part of the people that are taking a pause, taking a rest, sitting back. And quite frankly, you can count on your competition's mediocrity, which makes this so amazing, which makes this time so amazing. You can count on it. I know 99% of the people in this industry will back up. They'll hit pause. They'll take a break. If you knew the same and you knew you could just go and fill, I mean, if you think it's hard think about this. Most of you were competing in a seller's market where you have 20, 30, 40, 50 people that are all hitting the exact same seller over and over and over and over and over and over again. And you're like, this is a race to zero, Kent. Every time I turn around, there's another offer coming in, or how do I compete on price, and all this other stuff, right? I hear all the complaints. And if suddenly 90% of those people are just gone, but you're part of the 10% that is not only there, but is there in a profound and big, big way, think about what that does for you. Your cost per lead goes down. Your cost per deal goes down. Your profits go up, and your competitors are asleep. And I'm telling you, as sure as I'm sitting here, this is what is happening right now in real time. And if you are paying attention, you can win. If you don't, like I said, get out of the way, because you are that mediocrity. Just is what it is. All right, so let me see if I've got some questions coming in over here. If you got questions, make sure you put them down below the video. If you see something there with StreamYard, make sure that you've enabled StreamYard where it'll show me your questions. I'm going to go over into Facebook here real quick and see if I can I see one question right there. Let me see if I've got another one here. If you have anything that you're struggling with, I want to make sure that this is your chance. Every day I'm going to jump on here. So this is as real time as it gets. If you got a deal, if you got an opportunity, if you're dealing with a seller, a buyer, whatever you do, whatever's going on, let's, talk to me. And let me see if I can't get it handled for you, right? All right. Again, another question of what I think is going to happen in the market. I just now covered that. I'll tell you again, I think that most investors that I know, they're not playing in the retail market. So, it is nothing that I believe they have to be aware of it and everything I just covered, but they do not have to get down in the weeds of it and worry about it. And most wholesalers do not need to be worried about this at all. What you need to be worried about is how do you do more deals, and how you're going to adjust your buy box, and what is it that your buyers want to buy right now. It's that simple. If you focus on that, you're going to be just fine. If you try to outguess the market and you're not paying attention to what your buyers want, and you don't have relationships with their buyers, and you're not, actually sitting down and talking to them and finding out what we call our blue sky exercise, where we go and figure out exactly, listen, one of the best things you can be doing right now, by the way, let's just talk about this for a second. Sorry. One of the best things you can be doing right now is well, first off, let's just take a step back. I said this a second ago, I'll say it again. If you're not actively marketing for cash buyers, so using a system like ours here at Smart, or using one at PropStream, and literally pulling a list of every cash transaction in your market area for the last 30, 60, 90 days, or even up to 6 months. If you're not pulling that list and sending them the direct mail piece that is included inside of Smart, that is version 1 of the letter, the most proven marketing piece we've ever used, right? I can't even tell you how many millions of dollars that has created for people by connecting them directly with cash buyers. You send that one marketing piece on letterhead to them, and then you follow the exact process that is covered in our certified wholesaling training, where you have a conversation with that cash buyer that actually matters, right? Where you are building real rapport with them, where you understand fundamentally exactly what it is that they want to buy, how much of it they want to buy, where they want to buy. And basically think of it like this. When you're having a cash buyer conversation, by the time you get off the call, you have one fundamental objective. When I hang up this call, could I go and put a property under contract and know to a 90% certainty that this person would buy it? Because I've gotten so much information from them. I know exactly what neighborhood they want to buy, the price they want to pay, bedrooms, bath, square footage, year built. What do they want the exterior of the home? Do they want, cinder block, CBS construction, or do they want, are they good with frame? They want things that are only a ranch. They don't want it to be 2-story. They want it to be on a quarter-acre lot. They want it to have covered parking or a garage. There's all kinds of things. Don't want it next door. I want to know everything about the perfect property that a cash buyer wants to buy from me. Because the moment I do that and you do that, you are now winning. Because imagine if you go mail 1,000 cash buyers and 30 of them call you, right? And you have to understand what's really taking place there. Because I would ask you, think about what's going on there. You're sending a highly proven marketing piece to them, the cash buyer letter, what we call our challenge letter. And that letter basically says, hey, my name is Kent Clothier. I understand that you just purchased a property at 1234 Main Street. I have access to additional off-market properties in the area. If you would like for me to consider adding you to my buyers list, please contact me at the number below. Now, the word that makes all that, there's several elements to that make it work. One, the logo at the top. It's on a letter. It is not a fucking postcard. So it's professional, right? And it's coming from, it's personal to them. So the credibility is, one, it's on a letter. Two, it's on letterhead. The letterhead at the top. Three, I'm pointing out that I know they just bought a property, right? So there's a certain element. Okay, all right, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. And then four, the call to action is so strong with one word, the word consider. I will consider adding you to my buyers list. When you do that to somebody that is a high net worth individual, it is like a cat to catnip. If they have a strong desire to buy more properties, and it is not just a layup to get on your deal, like you actually stand for something. You're literally not saying, hey, go to this website and sign up and I'll add you to my buyers list. You're saying, you got to call me. You call me and we'll talk about, and I'll consider adding you to my buyers list. That kind of framing and positioning, the psychology behind that is extremely powerful, extremely powerful. And then when you get on the phone with them, you maintain that frame. You control the frame is what it's called. And by controlling the frame, I'm in complete control of the conversation. This is what it looks like to do business with me. Hey, I appreciate you calling me, Sam. My name is Kent. I'm the CEO of the company. Listen, before you got here, you may not have realized that here at ABC Wholesale, we specialize in creating, very powerful word, creating off-market inventory for our VIP cash buyers. In order to get on that list, we have to go through a process. So during the next few minutes, I want to walk you exactly through that process. I want to understand exactly what you're looking for, where you're looking to buy, why you're looking to buy it. I'll tell you exactly what we do on our side, how we do it, why we do it, answer any of your questions. And after, we will decide if we're a good fit. Does that sound fair? That one little frame right there changes everything. I'm in control of this conversation. They are not in control. I am not on bended knee asking you to to buy my deals. I will tell you whether or not I will sell you deals, period. And that aggressiveness, if you will, for lack of a better way of saying, positioning is a better way of saying it, is very, very powerful. The psychology behind that, if you think about any of you that have ever been to a VIP nightclub, right? Las Vegas, Miami, whatever, is one of the best examples of positioning you'll ever see. Go look at any luxury brand in the market out there today. Whether it is luxury cars, luxury watches, luxury home builders, the positioning is so hard where it is, I'll tell you whether or not you're good enough to buy my shit, right? Think about Ferrari. There are many models of Ferrari you cannot buy. You actually have to buy 1 Ferrari, 2 Ferraris, 10 Ferraris in some case before you can get to this model. They are qualifying your ass. It doesn't matter. You could have $100 million. If you haven't bought these other Ferraris before, you don't get this one, bitch. That positioning is so hard that they have people begging. There's literally a guy down in Florida that I just met. He literally bought all 10 of them at one time to get to the 11th. It's fucking wild, right? And so if this works on the ultra rich, it certainly works on everybody in between. Well, back to my example of the VIP club. Listen, practical value of what's going on there is very simple. There is a DJ in there playing music that is way too loud. The place will be packed shoulder to shoulder. You won't be able to move. The music will be so loud you won't be able to carry on a conversation. And yet, and then there's a couch here that represents, probably 15 square feet that you can now pay to rent that couch, approximately $10,000 to rent it for 4 hours for the privilege of taking that $10,000 and buying overpriced liquor that I can pay $50 or $100 for a bottle of vodka that will now cost me $1,000 in that environment. Positioning. Because when you look outside that club, there is a fucking line down the hall and around people waiting. Got a guy standing there, 6'4", big, huge guy, got the earpiece in his ear, got velvet rope in front of him, and they are begging to come in there and give people $10,000 in an overpriced environment. Why is that? It is positioning. It's all about positioning. It's the psychology of influence, right? And if you lose that and you don't appreciate that, then you get to fail at this business. And so back to my cash buyer, when I am positioning this as I'm a big deal, pick up the phone and call me. And then when you call me, I will decide if we're a good fit. That is heavy, heavy positioning. All right. The psychology, the influence there is really, really powerful. And you got to think, when somebody gets a letter and you mail 1,000 of these, ask yourself this. When's the last time you got a letter in the mail from somebody, you opened the letter and read the letter and then picked up the phone and called a perfect stranger? Probably never. Right. And if it's never, then what that means is that what this buyer just did when they called you was they took an extraordinary action that you've never taken in your life. So don't discount it. Don't treat it like it's not a big deal. It's a big deal, right? This is a proven cash buyer pulled right out of a database that you then turn around and have positioned them perfectly, developed enough curiosity, intrigue for them to take an action you've never taken in your fucking life. And now you got them on the phone. Yeah, you should treat it like a big deal because they could make you a millionaire. All you need to do is sit there and go through the process of effectively do that framing that I just said. You can go back and watch this video anytime. Do that framing before, during, after. And over the course of that call, find out if I could sell you anything in any neighborhood at any price. Close on any day. What are you looking to buy for the next 30 days? And how many? If you're going to pay all cash in the next 30 days, how many are you looking to buy? If I could provide you the very best investment property that you could ever want, your perfect property, how many of them could you buy? Right? You tell me you want to spend $200,000 on the property. If I brought you 5 in the next 30 days, could you got $1 million liquid? What about 60 days? What about 90 days? Because what you'll do in that exercise is you're going to look up, and not only do I have the buyer, I know exactly what they want, but the most exciting part is I'm going to look up and realize that if I can do this job well, I could potentially sell this guy $5 million in 90 days. Now I have a plan because I know exactly what my customer wants to pay. I know exactly the neighborhoods they want to be in, and I know exactly how much of it they will perform on. My job, and mind you, I have a dozen guys like this. My job is to figure out what those little pockets are where they all want to buy, and I direct every bit of my marketing towards creating those opportunities. Because if I can create those opportunities, not only will they be good deals for me if I ever want to take them down, but they are an amazing deal that I'll be able to wholesale to multiple people and maximize profits. And I already know what my customer wants to buy. That's how you get rich in this market. And that's what I did in 2008 that worked so well. And so when all of the other buyers got washed out of the market and I was just dealing with buyers like this, it was a fucking free for all. And so this could easily be the best of times for you. You just got to make sure that you're in the game and you're playing full out and you understand exactly the steps that you're doing, step by step by step by step. Okay, Richard says, which is better to get started with, wholesaling or buy and hold multifamily? Richard, really depends on what you're trying to do, brother. You know, if you're trying to buy and hold multifamily, clearly that is a long-term play. It is not a cash flow, or it is not a active income, cash generating philosophy, right? If you're going to go buy multifamily, you're going to tie up a great deal of money in the down payment potentially, and you will cash flow. But it's not going to be any kind of, crazy thing that's going to come at you, all at one time. People get into wholesaling because they want to create active cash flow on the regular, right? They want to create $50,000, $100,000 a month, if not more, in cash flow that they then use that cash flow to go and make more long-term investments inside of multifamily, single family, funds, commercial, whatever. But there's two different philosophies, right? It's basically like saying, hey, Kent, what do you think I should do? Buy an orange or buy an apple? Bro, it all depends on what your appetite is for. If you've got plenty of capital, plenty of cash, and you don't want to really be in the day-to-day, and you just want to deploy that capital and collect cash flow and build wealth, then certainly going and buying multifamily is the direction you need to go. If you want to get down in the weeds and you want to kind of go toe-to-toe a little bit, and you want to figure out a way to create, several $100,000 a month in income, or in revenue, I should say, into a business and kind of turn it into something bigger, that's wholesaling. All right, let's see here. Somebody asked, what is the best way for get cash buyers? I just covered that. Can we be in C or B grade properties? Okay, so Richard, I think what you're asking me, brother, is on the types of properties. For sure, B and A type properties in multifamily. I think that's what you're asking me. Anything with value add is what you want to be, but you definitely don't want to be, the market will compress down. You don't want to be, my personal belief is I would kind of avoid C properties or lower. For funding JV or hard money, what about BRRRR? BRRRR strategies right now are nothing that you want any part of because the interest rates are moving. Your ability to refinance and get out of those deals is a changing environment, kind of real time. Interest rates are probably going to still go up a little bit. You don't want to be caught in that trap of I'm looking to refinance a deal and I believed I was going to be able to cash out and cash flow, and suddenly I can't. So BRRRR is not the strategy to be working on for right now. Would you do it simultaneously or focus on one or the other? I would, again, Richard, whatever is your personal, like if you're looking to build a business, then start with wholesaling. If you're looking to go and just build wealth and not build a business, in other words, just deploy capital, plenty of ways to get into multifamily, whether that is through syndications or through funds like ours at Axia Fund. There's all kinds of ways that you can invest directly with us, and you're effectively a passive investor. You're getting great returns, you're getting your money, you have equity in deals, but you don't have to do anything day-to-day operationally. If you get into the wholesaling game, then in all likelihood, certainly starting out, you're going to have to do things that again, you're running a business, you're starting it, right? You're going to have to go through the phase. You're going to be a hustler when you get going, and it's going to take some time to put you in a place to where it's generating real cash that you're comfortable with, and that ultimately spits out enough cash that you go invest in other properties. Hopefully that helps you, man. Let's see here. Alex, your question on cash buyers, hopefully I answered that. I would actively go hardcore, do not screw around, go as hard as you can on marketing for cash buyers using the direct mail pieces that are inside of Smart. If this is helpful, go in the comments and give me a hell yeah, so I can know that I'm talking to people. Let me see if I can go and find if there's anybody else over here with comments. If not, then I will go ahead and start winding this down for the day. Let's see here. Doesn't look like there's any more comments coming in. All right. Look, guys, if there's no more comments today, then I will we'll go ahead and hit pause, and we'll come back tomorrow again at 11 a.m. I'm going to be here every day, same time, same place, exactly where you're watching it now. You can come back anytime and watch this, and we will turn around and answer all your questions. I will start bringing other peeps on here as well. Next week, I'll definitely have a handful of people come in. I will come at you live from my, hopefully my boardroom. And equally, if you guys have not, I don't know how many of you have done it or haven't done it, but if you have not gotten signed up for our event, the Scale and Escape Summit that is happening in South Florida, mid-September, September 9th and 10th, or 9th, 10th, and 11th, I should say. Go ahead and get signed up for that, because we are down to the last. I'm about to send an email here in just a minute. We are down to the last 41 in-person tickets that are available. So there's 41 seats available, and then they will all be gone. Doesn't mean you can't watch it virtually, but if you want to come out and hang out with me, Ed Milet, Aaron Wagner, Bobby Castro, Elena Cardone, which means Grant Cardone will probably stop by. Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod, Dave Allred, Jennifer Gottlieb. I mean, there are some real players. Pace Morby will be there. Real players will all be there. So it's a great opportunity for you to come and hang out with us. Again, just get signed up. Just go to scaleandescape.com. It's all designed around, hey, let me show you how to scale your business so you can escape the grind. Got the same question yesterday. When is the next find and flip? There is no find and flip challenge that is currently scheduled at this time. We may schedule one at the end of the year, but at this point, where there is not one that is scheduled. And then again, guys, I will see you guys same time, same place tomorrow. Advice for making it in a hot market like California. It's hard, but never giving up. Louis, yeah, I mean, great question, man. The advice I would give you is be relentless. You don't stop, right? Go into systems like PropStream, like Smart and others, and go do actually a little bit of fact finding. You know, one of the most empowering things that I do to myself constantly is, again, I separate fact from fiction. Sitting around and telling yourself it's hard, or that you're kind of bumping up against the wall, is one thing, and certainly, you know, it happens. I'm not denying you that at all. But when you actually go and do a little research on your market, and you see a market like San Diego, where there were 10,000 cash transactions for single family homes in the last 90 days, it's very empowering, because you figure out real quick, you cannot buy what isn't for sale, period. And that happened 10,000 times in the last 90 days. And Louis, if I'm sitting here and like, dude, all I want to do is do 2 a month. Well, I saw my checks, 10,000 is 3,333 a month. You're trying to do 2. You're not even 0.1% of the market if you just get 2 done. Are you good enough to do 2 in a market where 3,400, give or take, is happening every month? And the answer is unequivocally yes. The question is, so there's plenty of opportunity. They are for sure happening. The question is, what are you actually doing to get it, right? Because I can tell you, it is all about tenacity. It is all about action. Most people that are suffering right now, not doing enough deals, I can tell you the biggest thing that they're not doing, especially in California, is they're just not making enough offers. I mean, you cannot expect to do a single deal. A single deal is a result of 20 to 25 offers. That's the first place I would look, Louis. So are you making 25 offers to get 1 deal done? And if you want to do 2, then you got to make a minimum of 50 offers. And if you're going to make 50 offers, that means you probably got to talk to a minimum of 100 people. If you're going to talk to 100 people, it means you got to generate somewhere in the neighborhood of about 150 leads. And if you want to generate about 150 leads, well, then you got to figure out whether that's SMS, cold calling, or direct mail, or PPC. But if you're not generating 150 leads, it results in 100 contacts, and it results in 50 offers being made, which results in 2 offers actually getting closed. Then it's all in the math, baby. You're not doing what you got to do. The deals are happening. I can assure you of that. You just got to push harder than is comfortable. And I can 100% guarantee you that if you're like anybody else out there, successful or not, what you believe is comfortable, what you believe is where, I'm going as hard as I can. The reality of it is you're capable of, and you should expect yourself to do 2 to 3 times that. That's what it takes. That's what it takes to be great, right? If you want to be mediocre at it, I'm not your guy. But if you want to be great at it, then you're going to have to do things that go so far outside of your comfort zone. And I'm not talking about anything crazy. I'm just talking about effort. The effort will have to be so much more extreme than what you're comfortable doing right now, in order to achieve greatness. And I can't imagine why doing anything if I wasn't trying to be great at it. So hope that helps, man. And do not be bashful. You can always reach out to me. Just hit me up on Instagram at Kent Clothier. Hit me up on Facebook by private message. Go to kentclothier.com. Arrange to have a phone call with me. I'm here. I'm here to help you guys. Or just come back here every day at 11 o'clock Pacific, and we'll talk. Peace. See you guys.